This is taken from inside Victoria Hill, of course. I think that what's going to happen is eventually we're going to come across some, maybe some monuments, maybe a cemetery that's from the time when this place was this sort of a cousin to Riverview kind of thing. I don't know exactly, but people that weren't making it were put here, and apparently the conditions were really rough. I would also like to look into a little island that's off the coast of New Westminster. It's all cottonwoods. It'd probably be really interesting to get there if you could. Anyway, that was a place where I can say the treatment of Aboriginal people, from my understanding, was really rough. They were stuck out on this little island. It's just off the coast of New Westminster, and I've only seen a reference to it just once or twice. But anyway, yeah, this is just such a lovely place. Victoria Hill is gorgeous. You can walk around in here, and if you're on the road, there's no cars, but actually, between the buildings and stuff, there's always trails and stuff. Just a lovely, lovely place. I do believe that this is one of the original structures. It sure looks like one. It's sort of an Art Nouveau, isn't it? It's a gym now. I'll go and read the plaque and see what it was originally. Yeah, so I'm lucky enough to come across a couple of people who actually do know the history of this place. Yeah. So I'll turn it over to them. There's no plaque.
No, no, I guess there's not a plaque. But this will be the boiler house. So whatever the boiler house provided for the whole hospital complex would have been originated here. Perhaps the laundry was in here too.
It's the Woodlands Hospital complex, and that was for people who were really having trouble to make it.
A lot of severely handicapped people were resident here for many years. Yes.
I see. And there was some controversy about the burial ground or something, wasn't there?
That's correct.
There's a memorial park.
Okay.
Down there.
Okay.
And they've put together a memorial park, and that has the plaques of the names of all the residents.
Interesting.
And it's all by the decades as to when they passed away.
I see.
So that and the garden looks really nice. It's and there's also a bit of a memorial there with a window and a pool, because the inside of the building were rather inhospitable the way the architecture was, right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
So what was I going to say?
And there was the entrance was on Columbia Street. And there was really an what do you call it?
Yeah, there was a gatehouse there.
Gatehouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
and there were all different buildings here all over.
Okay.
And
originally the plan was to have heritage condominiums in the old building, in part of the old building.
Oh my God, yeah.
But the buildings were too far gone,
I see.
Deteriorated too much.
Okay, so, wouldn't that have been spectacular? But it seems that this place, Woodlands, was really sprawling, and they just raised it and built this community, which is gorgeous. Really good job, right?
They did.
Yeah, we live here. We're really, this is a wonderful community.
Yeah.
It's been very nicely designed.
Beautiful,
and,
absolutely beautiful.
But this is the only building. This is the only building from the Woodlands complex that has been restored.
Okay.
Because the other buildings were too far. There's the Carpenter's Hall.
Okay.
Which was also part of Woodlands, but all they've saved is the sort of the foundation wall.
I see.
And the building on top of that was replicated.
Okay. And there was a fire here too.
Yeah, the buildings were destroyed by fire. Yes.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, about 16 years ago, the buildings caught fire and they were destroyed, and then they were demolished after that.
It's really a unique feel here. It's inside the city, but really apart from it at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So how long have you been here?
Since 18 years, 18 years, yeah.
I might lose my view over in Surrey, and so I'm looking for a new place to live. And I'm thinking if I could live here with a view of the river, I'd grab that in a second.
We live in
Oh, you
one of
have
the
one of those?
apartments,
Yeah,
we
we,
have
Oh, is
one
that
of
right?
we
those,
have
yeah.
we have a view of the northeast, so we have the river and the mountains.
Nice.
Yeah, the views here are spectacular. Yeah.
Really? Okay, so what are we looking at now?
This is the carpenter's hall.
And is that what it always was?
It was a carpenter's hall. Yeah. Now it's and it's sort of like an amenities building.
I see.
You can rent it for meetings and parties.
Okay. And if I can go down the ravine and figure out how to get back up it the same way, then I'll be at the old BC Penitentiary grounds at least. There's like 2 buildings left over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the original.
The
Okay,
gate,
yeah.
the gatehouse is
Sorry, folks.
actually, to get a good look at the gatehouse, you could walk along Columbia Street till you get to the stairs, and then go up all the stairs. You can get a good view of the gatehouse.
Yeah, there's the restaurant there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ate there one time.
Oh yeah, yeah,
There's that famous criminal that,
yeah.
I've forgotten his name.
What?
He was a bank
I can't
robber, right?
remember
Like a
the
real
name of the
Bonnie and
restaurant now.
Clyde kind of character,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Cool. So this lovely piece of ground is the BC Penitentiary Cemetery, which is across the ravine, and the ravine is right there. I'll read this, what it says here, but I'm not going to read it aloud here now. Okay, I can't help myself. The penitentiary managed burials at this site for inmates who died while serving time and who were not otherwise reclaimed by family or friends. Fellow inmates dug the plots and created the grave markers and coffins. These grave markers only reference the inmate's prison number. Records of minority inmates, such as Indigenous, Chinese, and Doukhobor prisoners, are relatively incomplete, and little is known about their lives or their crimes. In 1914, a Chinese inmate called Jim became the first documented burial in the cemetery. There are likely 4 unmarked burials from late 1912 to early 1913. 2 of those are believed to be inmates who died due to their attempt to escape the prison. One man died from a gunshot wound suffered during the incident. The other was executed in punishment, as a guard was killed during their escape. The most common causes of death for the inmates buried at this cemetery included tuberculosis and suicide. God, I could speak better. The most common causes of death for the inmates buried at the cemetery include tuberculosis and suicide. Yeah, why not? Okay. The inmates interred at this site committed a range of crimes. Many were theft-related offenses. For example, buried here is an inmate who stole $15 worth of socks. Similarly, 5 Doukhobor inmates are buried here who were originally imprisoned for public nudity as part of a protest. However, some of these inmates were imprisoned for far greater crimes, including the charge of murder. And just something that I wanted to mention, I've been talking to that old couple for a while now. And I just, when I was talking, it just occurred to me once again, I had this impression when I was here before, but I honestly don't think that I've ever been to a community that felt more like a park. Like, a lot of it just looks like this. It's amazing. What happened when they took down the Woodlands Hospital, whichever year that was, the whole thing was designed by somebody, so it's not like a hodgepodge, right? It's like, kind of like Paris in a way. There's central planning went into it, so. And they did a beautiful job. I mean, there's so much land here that could have been, more apartments. They could have made more money, but they didn't. Victoria Hill's a beautiful place.